do believe everything is working. It is time to start today's episode! Yeah, baby! I'm excited. I hope you're excited. I got a whole thing ready for us. Let's get that screen out of the way. Without further ado, let's begin. You make sure my headphones are on. Alright, I'm ready. If you're ready, let's begin. We're going to start with our brand new handcrafted intro. This intro is going to be an intro we use every single time now. Moving forward, if you're here to catch the intro of the episode, you will be able to bear witness. If not, when you watch the video, you're going to get this intro. Welcome to us trying to get a little bit closer to being a little bit more professional. Without further ado, this is the only time we will be over speaking on the intro, just because I'm so excited that we're going to have one. So, here we go. Let's begin. It's going to go something like this every single time. Oh, hold on. Let me restart that. I didn't realize the speakers were still on. Story time. Piano freestyle series. And today, we're going to do a little Minecraft. Let's begin. Welcome back, everyone. Whether you're tuning in with sleepy eyes, a morning coffee, or deep into a late night scroll session, I'm glad you're here. You see, this series was never just about telling stories, or even about playing music. It's about building bridges between sound and silence, laughter and longing, the present moment and the worlds we imagine together. Every note in the piano, every freestyle carries the heartbeat of our story, and every story unfolds like a melody, and sometimes dissonant, sometimes triumphant, but always, it's always real, and it's always the society. Today we set our sights on a pixelated world that somehow is more alive than most, Minecraft. But this isn't just about blocks and mobs. No, 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 no. This is about what we build, not just in game, but within ourselves, and more importantly, within each other. Fuck it. So take a breath, tune into the keys, and let's wander where music meets myth, and where every crafted block holds a tale waiting to be told by you. let's tell some stories. I'm gonna let a song play out. Oh, that's fucking stupid. All right, I'm gonna let the next song play while I get the first story up. This should be a great story to tell us, or a great song to tell a story to. This is the best story to tell this song to. Here we go. Come on. There you go, you dirty bitch. Here we go. Here we go. Let's get this restarted. All right. There was this guy. Let's call him Marcus. Marcus wasn't dramatic. He didn't live some wild movie-worthy life. He worked a regular job, the kind where coffee's always burnt and the emails never stop. Every day felt like a loop. Wake up tired, chase time, fall asleep. Scroll through the what-ifs and the should-haves. What people didn't see was that every night after work, Marcus would sit at his keyboard. Not the computer kind, the dusty, slight out of tune digital piano he owned since college. He wasn't trying to become famous. He just needed a place where nothing would be perfect. No boss breathing down his neck, no comparison trap. He played sometimes. It was messy, sometimes it was magic. But it was always honest. The songs didn't fit his life, but they gave him a space to feel. Some nights, he'd make up little melodies that sounded like little old memories. Sometimes they were heavy like guilt. Other times they were light like laughter. He hadn't heard it in a while. But one night, he hit a record. Not because he wanted the world to hear, just because he wanted to remember how it felt to create without permission. That recording, it became a ritual. That was the moment Marcus quietly decided his story is worth telling. Even if it's only through sound, it needs to be heard. So he took to the news, sent him his demo, and they came back and put him on air. Oh, I got a story. I got a story. And I hope somebody out there hears it. Here we go. Even if it's just for a minute, this shit's funny as fuck. Here we go. Where's my other one? Hold on. Where's my other one? I want to be prepared for this. I don't want to break character, dude. Fuck. Hold on. I don't want to break character on this because I know I can. Alright. Here we go. Kermit sat alone on the edge of the pond, legs crossed, banjo silent in his lap. The lily pad swayed gently beside him, but his thoughts weren't so peaceful. He'd known something was off. Late last night at rehearsals, the perfume that clung to her scarf, one he had never bought, Miss Piggy, always did love a little drama, but lately she'd started living in a whole different genre. He wasn't angry, not really, just tired. Tired of forgiving the flirty text she swore were fan appreciation. Tired of pretending he didn't notice her rehearsing Single Ladies while humming someone else's name. Love, he realized, shouldn't feel like a stage you have to keep performing on. So he left her a note. Not a long one, just the truth. And the note read, "Dear Miss Piggy, this frog's done leaping through hoops. You taught me style, sass, and self-worth. Maybe too well. Gotta be fabulous. I'll be here. Finally learning how to be still. Yours no longer, Kermit." He folded the letter, tucked it under his favorite mirror, compact, and walked out the door. He didn't slam it. Frogs don't slam. But he didn't hop away with his banjo in one hand and a new kind of rhythm in his heart, the kind that says, "It's okay to outgrow the chaos once you called love." Dude, we're gonna do more stories like this. Let's roll this back real quick. Hold on. Kermit stared at the half-full mug in front of him. Cold peppermint tea. Her favorite. Funny how even the small things don't feel small when they linger. They'd been together a long time. Through a variety of shows, across country tours, through awkward interviews, and perfect timed love songs, through chaos and calm, and somewhere in that timeline, they stopped being we and started becoming her spotlight and his silence. It wasn't just the cheating that hurt, sure, but what really cracked him open was realizing he'd stopped being heard long before she ever wandered. The famous "Hiya!" that used to thrill him now echoed like a thunder in his chest. He'd been the steady one, the patient listener, the harmony to her spectacle. But frogs need peace too, maybe more than most. So he packed up quietly, just a duffel bag, his banjo, and the phone booth, stripped
she once insisted on keeping even though her face were cut out of the pictures. As he closed the door behind him, he whispered,
"Not in anger, not in pain, but in a farewell. It's not been easy being green, but it's even harder being invisible. Now that I know, and that was the beginning, not of the end, but of Kermit finally choosing himself."
And with that, we go into episode story number 3.
Okay, let me roll this back.
It was a quiet morning in the swamp, the kind of morning where the mist clings to the water, and the crickets are still holding their final notes from the night before.
Sipping the tea. You ever notice how peaceful and suspicious it feels when you've lived in chaos for too long?
Ah, yes. Our beloved green philosopher Kermit the Frog, recently single, marginally hopeful, and completely out of coffee filters again.
I wasn't always this introspective, you know, but heartbreak does strange things, and you start reading the labels on everything. Even the peanut butter jar starts sounding profound.
He was, of course, referring to the organic almond spread Miss Piggy insisted they buy last spring. She said it made her feel cleaner emotionally. It now sat unopened, much like the last 5 texts from her he never replied to.
Strumming his banjo gently. You ever try to unfollow somebody you were planning a future with? Turns out love doesn't come with unsubscribe buttons.
But the frog wasn't bitter. No, he was healing. In small, honest ways. Like learning to make omelets without burning the bottom. Like singing out loud again, even if the notes cracked in the middle.
You know, for a long time, I thought I needed the big scenes, the drama, the flair. Maybe I just need a bit of quiet. And someone who chooses me without the certain curtain call.
And with that, he took a deep breath. He let the silence settle. And he played a soft melody. One that wasn't about her, or even about the loss, but about the arrival. The afternoon sun dripped through the blinds like lukewarm syrup. The kind of light that made everything look nostalgic, even when nothing had happened at all.
Did you know there's a picture of us in every room, but not a trace of me left in any of them?
He wasn't being poetic, he meant it. Miss Piggy's perfume still clung to the curtains in the room that filled the living room. Her feather boa lived on the coat rack like a ghost in sequins.
I used to think that loving something meant shrinking just enough to make space for both of them. Turns out I disappeared somewhere between her fourth perfume launch and our second breakup.
And yet he stayed kind. Not out of weakness, not out of habit. Frogs are like that. They're loyal, they're quiet, capable of doing far more than most give them credit for.
It's funny. Everyone always assumes I was the lucky one. But maybe the real flex is knowing when to hop out of the fairy tale before it swallows you whole.
Before he stood up, slow and thoughtful, he not only broke, he just recalibrated. With each step to the door, he left behind the fantasy, the noise, the perfume. And outside, under a half-lit sky, a soft breeze ruffled his collar, as if whispered to no one in particular.
I still believe in love, just maybe not in a Broadway light.
And with that, he went into the living room, lit the cozy fireplace, grabbed his favorite book, and began to go in to dreamland. A place where not even his banjo could take him. A place where even the farthest reaches of his mind couldn't find him. A place untouchable. A place Kermit called paradise.
Oh, if I can pull this off, man. This is the story, the backstory of the snail that works at Monsters Inc. That old cranky ass bitch. Watch this. Here we go.
You know, I've been working here longer than half these monsters have had fangs. And not once have I tripped on an alarm. Not once have I spilled scare elixir on the floor. Not once have I yelled boo louder than a whisper. That's called restraint. Or maybe it's just called slow metabolism. Hard to tell. Every morning, I pass the same water cooler conversations. Different monsters, same nonsense. How do I get promoted faster? Who's dating who? Meanwhile, I'm over here trying to get to the break room before lunch. Even turns into leftovers. But speed, that's overrated. You know what's underrated? Arriving with a tent. I may take 37 minutes to get to the supply closet, but when I do, I remember why I went there. Some folks think I'm invisible, like Mike Wazowski. Always forgetting his paperwork. Just a slimy reflection on the tile floor. But I hear things. I know things. Like who's been skipping their laugh quota, who's been microwaving fish past company hours, who forgets to do their paperwork. I remember every name, every noise, every kindness. That's the gift of going slow. Your world gets bigger, not smaller. They might not say it, but I'm part of this place as well. I hold the rhythm between all the chaos, and while they're racing to get the next big thing, I'm already here. 1 inch at a time. You don't need to be first, you just need to remember why you're there. By the way, Mike Wazowski, don't forget to turn in your paperwork tonight.
Oh my god. Tear to my eye. Tear to my eye. I love that one. Let's do one more of those, and then we'll do back to the Kermit, because I love doing Kermit.
Listen to Kais and Beats.
Okay, let me roll this back. Hold on, watch this. Hold on. It's always worth it. Hold on. I'm a slow typer. Okay, here we go.
You know what I love about this place? It's predictable. The screen tanks hum. The vending machines eat your credits. And once a week, without fail, Mike Wazowski forgets to file his paperwork. Every Thursday, I pass his desk. Same scene, stack of unfilled forms, the post-it that says "Do this" or "Roswell" in all caps, and Mike somewhere across the building giving a tour or tripping over his own enthusiasm. But today was different. There he was, sweating, panting, clutching his clipboard like it held the secrets of the universe or something. He skidded past me in a blur of panic, and in a high-pitched muttering, I moved aside graciously. Took me 4 minutes. But I like to give space for the small miracles like Mike Wazowski. He turned to me, his big-ass eye wide open, and said, I forgot the paperwork. I forgot the forms 231 forms. Whatever. I just blinked slowly twice and said, Mike, you forgot them every week. It's cute that you're surprised, but I need those forms on my desk at the end of the week, Mike Wazowski. He groaned. Somewhere Roz materialized like a ghost within a pen. I offered him one of my emergency stress leaves. He declined. ran off screaming something about recalibrating the emotional support blinders.
Me, I kept inching forward, past the chaos, past the caffeine breath, and the overdue reports, because eventually Mike remembers, and when he does, I'm there. I'm always there. At the file cabinet, waiting for Mike Wazowski, patient as moss, waiting legends flail while I glide.
It's such a hard voice to do. Ah, my fucking throat. God damn. Hold on. Ah, I need something to drink. Fuck. All right, Kermit the Frog. Kermit
The Frog. Kermit the Frog.
Okay. Let's rock it. Here we go.
Everything had settled over the swamp like an old cardigan, soft, familiar, slightly damp in the sleeves.
You ever notice, do you ever notice how the world gets louder the moment you try to be quieter?
He wasn't really talking to anyone, not in the usual sense, just to the fireflies, and maybe to himself, or to the silence he'd been avoiding all week.
I used to think love was all about showing up with flowers and grand gestures. Turns out, sometimes it's about knowing when to knock and when not to.
The frogs had stopped croaking for the night, as if to hold their breath and listen to what he was speaking about.
She said I didn't sparkle anymore, that I was just dependable. And maybe that was true, but I think I'd rather be the song that sticks with you quietly than the one that burns out on the charts.
He played a slow chord, nothing flashy, just a few gentle notes that felt like walking home barefoot after a long summer day.
I'm still green, still soft around the edges, but I'm learning maybe that's not a flaw at all. Maybe that's just me, unfiltered.
And that's just that. The porch light flickered, not for drama, just enough to remind him he still had a place to return to, even if he wasn't returning to her. And with that, he arrived home, sat in front of his piano, and Kermit unleashed a tune to the rhythm of the sound.
All right, next one.
The dinner, almost empty. Just the hum of a flickering neon light on a sign outside the door of the building. A waitress who had stopped caring about refills, and a frog in a booth stirring his coffee like he had more answers than coffee.
You ever sit down somewhere so long the silence starts to make more sense than the noise?
He hadn't even ordered food yet. Just the coffee. Just the warmth. Something that didn't need to be solved.
She said I wasn't the same, that I changed. But I don't think I did. I think I just stopped bending. I stayed the same.
Outside, a rainstorm made puddles out of everything. And inside, he sipped and let the quiet soak in. The silence of the cafe, feeling like a sanctuary.
I used to sing her lullabies when she couldn't sleep. Now I just hum to ache in my ribs when the booth feels too big.
A receipt fluttered to the floor. He didn't pick it up. Some things he figured weren't worth chasing anymore.
But maybe that's okay. Maybe some chapters don't end up with closure. Maybe they just get quieter until you stop turning back.
He took one last sip, left 2 crumpled up bills on the counter, and walked into the storm. Not because he was lost, but because this time he knew the way home didn't need an umbrella. Just a little courage and a whole lot of hope.
Oh shit. Okay, another one, another one. Ooh, wait. Let's see if we can make this one work. Hold on. Here we go. Let me roll this back. Here we go. This is a different type of story, but I used to do these for people that were, I would spectate their games, but I'm not spectating anybody, so we're going to make one up. Here we go. All right, so squad mate 1. Wait, is that actually Kermit the Frog on our team?
Ribbit. Lock it in, boys. I didn't come here to croak.
Okay, let's see what the Muppet got. Oh, hold on. Oh, there we go.
1 down. 2 reloading. And, boys, get ready because my airstrike's ready.
Yo, what? Kermit just wallbanged a guy through a vending machine.
That's what happens when you spend years dodging Miss Piggy's flying heels. Reflexes stay sharp, my friends.
Kermit, you're moving like a demon out here. What's your lowdown?
Silenced SMG, mobility perks, and a little frog intuition. Also, I eat flies mid-match, boost my kill streaks, just so you guys know.
Who in the fuck is the green monster?
Just so we're all clear, it's just a frog with regrets and a little bit of grudge. Mainly towards Miss Piggy.
Finally, kill by fucking Kermit the Croaker. 30 eliminations, 0 deaths. Bro, you're not real. There's no fucking way.
Sometimes the quietest frogs make the loudest plays, my friend.
It's not as much as the same. If I pulled up somebody's Call of Duty video, we could totally fucking dialogue that shit, but it's better when it's fucking live. Let's get back into the fucking stories. I wanted to see what that would feel like. It's funny, but it's not as funny. Next one. Not even missing a beat. Watch this. Let's go.
The job fair smelled like cold pizza and nervous ambition. Folding tables lined the auditorium. Each one stacked with flyers, branded pens, and the recruiters who smiled a little too weird and a little too wide.
Well, here goes nothing.
He wasn't looking for fame this time. He just needed something new, something quiet, something that didn't come with the pyrotechnics of throwing handbags.
Hi, I'm Kermit. I'm green, emotionally available, and surprisingly organized.
Are you comfortable with spreadsheets?
I once balanced the emotions of a cast of 30 during an unscripted musical. I can handle Excel.
He applied for a dozen roles: data entry, mailroom assistant, emotional support frog, and human resources. No callbacks. Until one day, an envelope, actual paper, gold lettering, the offer. It read, Chief Wellness Coordinator, Department of Overwhelmed Employees. And Kermit read out loud.
Your job is to sit in a comfy chair, listen to people rant, and occasionally say something like, "Wow, that sounds hard. I was born for this."
And so he showed up, day one, with a travel mug and a what the fuck type of tea, and a frog-sized clipboard. He didn't fix their problems. He didn't need to. He just nodded, listened, played a soft banjo during lunch, and by Friday the office stress levels had dropped by 32%. One intern cried out of relief for the first time all year, and Kermit just smiled, wrote in his logbook,
Small ripples make quiet waves, but sometimes those are the ones that carry the most water.
Let's keep it rolling.
Week 2. And the office had already started shifting. Less sighing. More awkward smiles in the break room. A noticeable drop in passive-aggressive post-its.
You know, no one tells you that holding space for people in a real kind of workplace is a real job.
His calendar was full, not with meetings, not with moments, but with emotions. A junior analyst who cried, but about an imposter syndrome. A manager who hadn't taken a deep breath since the physical year of 2019, since COVID outbreak. And gently, Kermit told them,
It's okay to feel tired. You've been carrying invisible things for a very long time.
word spread. People stopped by just to sit near the frog. No pressure, just peace. HR asked if he wanted to be in a bigger office, but he declined.
I like being near the window. It lets the feelings out faster, you know?
But peace has a habit of attracting pressure. And on Friday, chaos arrived. Miss Piggy, in all of her spectacle, and with the biggest heels she owned, walked in with a resume and with a dramatic entrance that nearly knocked over the receptionist's fiscus.
Of course she did.
She demanded a role in public relations, said the office needed glamour, said she was emotionally involved, said she brought cupcakes.
Let's start with tea, not titles.
By month 3, the Quiet Frog had accidentally become the soul of the building. Stress levels were down, productivity was up, people were saying thank you to the copy machine. Something was happening.
Note to self, joy is contagious, but so is burnoutness. Apply empathy like sunscreen.
Then came the meeting, the big one. Suits from corporate, a PowerPoint with too many transitions, and suddenly, effectively, immediately, Kermit the Frog is being promoted to Chief Cultural Officer.
I thought I was just here to listen and hand out mint tea.
He was wrong, but sometimes a frog becomes more than a therapist in a cardigan. Sometimes a frog becomes a movement. Word spread, someone posted a video of Kermit leading a 5-minute guided breathing session. Within hours, it had 1.2 million views. And a remix with lo-fi beats.
Oh no. I think I've gone viral.
Suddenly, he was asked to speak at a conference, host podcasts, write a book called Lily Pad Leadership. Miss Piggy returned to demand a joint talk show.
Picture it, Miss Piggy and the green. You handle the feelings, I handle the drama. let's circle back never to this idea, shall we?
But through it all, through fame, flyers, and floating expectations, Kermit stayed steady because he wasn't chasing meaning. He was creating it, one deep breath at a time, and one listening session at a time.
We're already ready for the fourth part of this. We're gonna let this roll out though. Here we go. Part 4.
They called it reboot and refresh, a weekend of synergy. But to Kermit, it looked suspiciously like a trust fall into chaos.
Team building doesn't have to involve zip lines. Some of us connect best over quiet soup.
He'd been roped into co-leading the retreat with a motivational speaker named Chad Thunderbrook. Chad wore mirrored sunglasses indoors and referred to feelings as brainwaves.
Come on, team. Who's ready to unlock their inner beast mode?
I just brought worksheets, guys. No.
By hour 2, Karen from accounting was fake laughing through rope courses and panic attacks. Someone cried over a broken trail mix. And the company mascot got lost in the fucking woods. Through it all, Kermit stayed calm, centered, the only soul at the retreat who remembered to pack napkins, an emotional support playlist, and bug spray. With lavender undertones, of course.
Breathe in like you still believe in brunch. Breathe out like you're letting go of a fart of disappointment. And do that 5 times. Breathe in, breathe out. Breathe in, breathe out. Breathe in, breathe out. One more time. Breathe in and breathe out.
That night, while Chad breathlessly shouted about hustle culture into a campfire, Kermit took a seat at the lake's edge. A few co-workers joined him, not talking, just crickets, and the soft strumming of a banjo.
You know, maybe the real synergy is just showing up without pretending.
And in that stillness, something shifted. Not dramatically, but deeply. Because sometimes all a retreat needs is less shouting and more frogs who understand when to just listen.
We're gonna make a fucking series out of this. I believe so. I agree. And I love the beats because you can kind of rhyme to it at the right time, but then at the same time it's catchy, and at the same time it just fits. It's not over the top. It's a new style of hip hop, baby. Storytelling in a new whole fucking way. They say rapping's all about storytelling. Well, fucking tell your story. Hell.
I guess I will. The ceremony was held at the downtown hotel that smelled faintly of ambition and over-polished ballroom floors. It was the excellence in workplace culture. Awards, and Kermit had obviously been nominated.
I was told there would be mini cuisine.
Blinked since 1942. And then Amis.
And now the recipient of this year's Cultural Catalyst Award for transforming the emotional climate of an entire workplace using tea, sincerity, and one tragically underrated banjo. Please welcome Kermit the Frog.
Oh! Frogs crumble.
He shuffled up onto the podium, index cards in hand. But halfway there, he stopped, looked at the crowd, then tucked the cards into his pocket.
Hi, I'm Kermit the Frog. I like quiet spaces and hot drinks. And if you ask people how they really are, even if it makes the elevator ride awkward, it makes everybody's day a little better. I didn't do this to win anything. I did it because I know what it feels like to smile in meetings and still go home hollow. If being kind, patient, and honest with each other is considered revolutionary, then maybe the bar's been too low for a little too long.
They did not clap right away. Not because it didn't land, but because it did. And then the room burst like a kettle steam. Applause, whistles, everyone stood out of their seat. Even confetti cannons, someone probably regretted immediately, bursted across the room.
That's my emotional regulated ex.
From across the back of the room. He laughed, just a little, enough, and as he stepped down, award in hand, napkin wrapped, and quesadilla in the other, he whispered to no one in particular,
I'm still learning, but I think I like who I am becoming.
Monday morning started after the award ceremony, suspiciously upbeat. The receptionist smiled too much. Someone brought in bagels and cream cheese with options. Something was afoot.
I don't trust kindness this early without a backstory.
He reached the elevator, pressed number 4. The doors opened, and there it was. An 8-foot mural of him. cross-legged with rays of sunlight between him and the words, breath, breathe like the frog does.
Oh no. Ah, shit, I think I've become a brand.
He stared at his own scenery, immortalized beside the conference room. Above it hung a quote he definitely never said.
Kindness is the currency of synergy. By Kermit, probably. I say tea-related things. And soft metaphors, not marketing slogans. What the fuck is this?
But the team loved it. Selfies were taken. A wellness TikTok was filmed. HR asked if he could autograph employee reusable mugs. He tried to protest, but the more he pushed back, the more they leaned in. Until they finally, during a town hall, he stepped up to the mic and said,
I'm flattered, really. But let's remember, peace isn't a protester. Peace isn't a poster. It's how we show up when no one's watching. I am the best version of me, but that is not portrayed on that poster. It's the part that listens when you need to fall apart in the stairwell.
There was a beat of silence. Then someone slowly removed the inspirational quote. And Kermit, he walked up to the break room, made his tea, and sat down. Under the mural, just a frog. Just a presence. Just enough. Wellness Week was supposed to be simple. A few breathtaking sessions, fruit in the break room, maybe some spa music in the elevators. But then marketing got involved.
Wednesday, goat yoga and lavender smoothies? This feels like wellness is more like a lawsuit waiting to happen.
By noon, someone had set up a Himalayan salt lamp the size of a Prius. Interns were instructed to detox their email energy, and Chad Thunderbrook, yes, he was back, was leading a laughter meditation in conference room B.
Alright, guys, let's laugh our way to clarity.
I'm already clear, Chad. I just don't feel like giggling through my way through trauma.
Then came the incident. Someone mistook the herbal tea bar for the experimenting with Habucha station, which would have been fine until Carl from finance took 3 sips and started confessing her tax season sins to the water cooler.
I expensed a hobby lamp, okay? I just needed to light to Kent.
Breathe. Repent. Hydrate. It's gonna be okay, Carol. It's alright.
By Friday, the goats had staged a mild coupon. A mild coup in the stairwell. Chad had been politely asked to laugh somewhere else, and HR was reconsidering everything. Through it all, Kermit remained the same, steady, unshaken, occasionally spirituing rosemary mists into the chaos.
I think next year we should just hang out with granola bars and give everybody the afternoon off.
Alright, one more, and then we're gonna take a break. Because my fucking throat is on fire. Bouncing between the voices so hard. But this is gonna become we're gonna be doing this tomorrow at the beginning, and then we'll go into Minecraft. We're gonna take a break so my vocal cords can slow down, and then we'll come back hopefully before the night's up. Whew. I already got the next story ready to go. Part 8. Scoobert, Kermit, whatever you want to call them. They're all kind of both the same. Although I am going to start a spin-off series when we come back for Scoobert, sponsored by Tater Chip Racing. I got some ideas this time to make it a little bit better than what we got this time. I don't know if I'm going to be able to pull it off, but I'm going to fucking try. I don't think it's going to work.
It started with a sneeze. Just a tiny one, polite, but by 9:12 a.m., Kermit's voice was 3 octaves lower, and his tea tasted like betrayal.
I don't want to alarm anyone, but I may be moderately unwell.
He tried to stay powered through 1 emotional check-in, 2 department hugs, and a 3rd unsolicited spreadsheet rant. But by noon, his banjo was silent.
I'm going to cough. Please don't let anyone schedule a feelings fire drill while I'm gone.
He left, tucked himself under a very small quilt with a very large set of tissues. In the office, well...
Wait, who do I cry to now?
Do we self-soothe? What are we supposed to do now?
Without Kermit, someone tried leading a mindfulness moment and accidentally activated the building's lockdown protocol. The goats from Wellness Week wandered back in uninvited. Chad Thunderbrook sent a motivational email titled "Be Your Own Frog" with 7 typos and 1 glitter gif. By 3 p.m., the janitor had taken over the wellness office and was softly playing an accordion covers of Enya songs. No one stopped him. Everyone just sat quietly and missed the frog. Then just before closing time, a ping. Kermit's email. Subject, out of office.
I'm okay, just drinking soup and listening to rain. Remember, peace doesn't disappoint. It just naps sometimes. Kermit the Frog, out.
The building exhaled slightly, knowing that he would return, and he did not leave them forever.
Alright, we're gonna be right back. I'm gonna let this play out. I'll be right back. Good lord, I'm so sweaty. It is fucking hot in this fucking house, dude. Or maybe it's just me. Maybe it's this thick ass shirt. I don't know. It's fucking hot as fuck though. Alright. Be right back. back with the stories. We're gonna take a quick little break. Let's see, what time is it? Give me 30 minutes. Give me 30 minutes if you're interested in hearing stories. Give me 30 minutes. I got you for 30 minutes. I'll be right back.